lamp and plug it in. No, the other lamp down there. And plug it in right here so that I have more light. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about this. Figures. Never mind if we can't. We don't have those, do we? Okay. Hi, Renee. Can you make a comment, please, so I can see if I have comments? Somebody, anybody? Comment, please. Can you pull it all a little closer?
Sure.
No, not, I mean, just closer. Both of them. Thank you.
Can you take this off?
No, that's good. Okay. This is not cool. It's going to be awfully hard to do this from my phone if I have to. Lovely Facebook, isn't it wonderful? Yeah, I'm still not getting comments on here, guys. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm either going to have to do this without comments or as long as my phone holds up and doesn't die on me. Whichever comes first. Okay, I'm going to try that, guys. I'm not going to keep wasting everybody's time. I'm going to go ahead and try and just teach the class because for the first hour or so it's just going to be teaching anyway. So just, you know, give me a minute. There's still a couple more people that haven't joined in yet. Back in. And once we have a chance for them to do that, I will get started. But I do apologize. I had this problem in the first place, then I had it fixed. I don't know what the problem is. I've done my readings each week with no problem until just recently. And the last time I did my readings, it froze up on me and the comments in the middle. But anyway, Lisa asked how I'm doing. And I'm doing okay, Lisa, besides these frustrations. I apologize for all of this. I'm still hurting a little bit and some pain. Had to wear my neck brace to keep from hurting all day, but I'm doing okay at the moment. Are you guys with me? I got my comments on the phone at the moment. So I've got a couple of them. Can somebody else comment just so I can see if it's going on my phone? Please. Because now I've got comments, but there we go. Thank you, Nicole. Got it. It's going again. It froze up on there again. Okay, well, we were up to 10 on the other video. I don't know where we lost the other 5 people, but a lot of times the count is off anyway. A lot of times it'll say we have 10 people or so many people, and there's actually more. So I'm not concerned about that. If I get going really well, I may have to stop to plug my laptop in and switch some cords around, but we're going to go for this. We're going to make it work no matter what. I am going to have to follow the comments on my phone, but if my phone dies, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm charging my tablet at the same time. So I do apologize. If it wasn't for Facebook freezing my comments, I would be okay. I'm prepared. So let's get started. All right. So everybody, welcome. I'm so glad that you could join me, problems or not. And I am really, really grateful that you're here because this is a really fun, exciting, fascinating topic to talk about. It's something that I really enjoy learning about, still constantly learning about it, but the things that I've learned are just so intriguing, and it just constantly, the more I know, the more intrigued I get. So I love sharing this information with you, but I do have to say I have been sick yesterday and today. So I'm fine. I'm able to do this. So thank you for your concern, for those of you that know how I've been. But because of that, I wasn't able to really practice. So I'm going to be reading a lot directly off my papers. So bear with me as I do that. But I think you'll get a lot out of the info no matter what, however I do it. So as long as we can keep the feed going and nothing dies on us, we'll be good to go. So what's crazy is on my laptop it's showing 4 people. Well, my phone was showing 5, now it's 4. But people wind up coming back and forth the whole time. But it just shows that it's different counts on whatever device you're on. So anyway, this topic is something that I learned about in the last year out of interest because somebody told me that my son might be an indigo. So I started doing research to figure out exactly what that was. Well, long story short, he wound up not being an indigo, but a different type of universal child. And just exploring through him and his needs, I wound up learning that myself and my daughter are both types of universal children as well. So the more I learned about this, the more I really wanted to share it with people. And I asked my guides what classes I should start offering because I was going to start offering them on a weekly basis. And I found out through my readings that I do that when people finally find out this about themselves, if they're a universal child or a certain type of light worker, it gives them such meaning and purpose, and it gives them something to go on as far as how to proceed in their life plan and their spiritual path. So it really is a big step, an important part of your learning process. And so my guides, even though there's so many things I could have taught about, told me this needed to be one of my first classes, like one of the first 3. So I think it really is important because I also have met people that have been on their spiritual path now for a number of years and still don't realize what soul family they come from or if they're part of the universal children. And it just seems difficult to not know that and not know where your soul stems from, and it's why it has a purpose. Even if you figured out your purpose, why do you have that life purpose? Is there more reason behind it? And it just feels like it would be a big piece of the puzzle missing for me, and I'm really grateful that I figured it out early. So I want to make sure all of you know, if you are one, what they are. And so even if you're not one personally, you will know for one thing, but also it'll help you to figure it out and recognize it in your children, your loved ones, or other people. Some of you are readers, so you may meet clients that are one, and you can offer them this information, and it can really be helpful. So I'll start reading, and if you can, because I'm having problems with the comments, just like my last class, please go ahead and hold the comments till the end, and I will get all this information out, and then we will have an open discussion and answer any questions that I can. So hopefully my comments and everything will be working by that time. If not, at least you'll have gotten the class in and got the information, and then if you have any questions that I can't answer via comments, you can inbox me. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with, for any of you that are new, that are joining us now or going to be watching this video later, who am I? Well, until a year ago, I didn't even know if I believed in any of this stuff. I didn't know if I believed in extraterrestrials. I didn't know if I believed in life on other planets, aliens, whatever you want to call them. Um, I just didn't know if any of it was real, and I didn't know what to think about it at all. I wanted to think it was possible, but I really didn't take the time to look into it, research it, or anything like that. And then when I started really coming into my spiritual abilities, I became well, I didn't know that I already was, a psychic and a medium, which means that I can speak both to spirit as well as I can speak to angels, and I can channel angels and their messages. So I wound up learning a lot about this stuff really quick, from them, my guides, as well as my clients that were reading for, and it kind of made me delve into it a lot to really research it, so I knew what I was dealing with, so I could help my clients and myself and my children. But I wound up researching a lot, reading, um, reading on the internet. I read a couple of books. I spent countless hours researching this, along with talking to other people that I believe to be experts that do channel angels. Some of them actually channel galactic beings from other planets and get messages from them, as well as spirit. But also, I took a course in it, which helped a lot and gave me some very detailed information about it. So that just tells you who I am and why I can speak to this subject. But also just, being one personally and my children, um, I feel now that I've learned enough about it that I can actually pass it on. But now that I'm usually very confident about teaching subjects, most subjects, especially when I've researched them this much. But before I go into all of this, I just want to let you know that this particular topic is, even though I love talking about it, it's still very new in the sense of not knowing that much about it, as far as what's been recorded. So I often can answer a lot of questions on the topic confidently. I will be happy to answer any questions I can, and if I don't know the answers, I will do my best to get them for you. But there's not that much information out there. There really isn't. It's because it's, being a fairly new topic as far as humans being awake enough to know about these things, to actually document it, as well as in the entire human population, there are not that many of us light workers that are aware of this information and actually share it. So that is why it's important that we share what we learn with others, and that I'm glad that you're joining me so that you will know this information as well and can pass it on to those that you think need it. But because of this, there's not that much information out there, and it can be really hard to find. I quickly found that while there are a handful of websites on the topics, many of them just clearly copied and pasted each other's information, and it starts off and is worded exactly the same from website to website. Plus, there's a lot of misinformation that's not correct, that's not accurate, and it can be very misleading. So it's because of this that I want to tell you that I am sharing this knowledge with you freely, but under the understanding that we have no way of confirming, other than those like myself that can channel spirit, angels, or galactic beings. We can confirm a certain amount of this through those methods, but I cannot speak for everyone out there that puts this information out there. I can only speak for myself, knowing what I know to be true from my very important resources. Others that claim this information, I don't know. So I'm going to pass along to you what I've learned, with giving you a cautionary warning to make sure to be careful what you research, the information that you receive, to not take it all as 100% accurate, but take it as possibilities until you can confirm it otherwise. So, because a lot of this I didn't channel myself, I'm taking it from other resources. But I only took from the ones that I believe intuitively that are accurate. So I'm trying to share it as accurate as possible, but as you further research and awaken your soul's journey, you may find that a piece of info here or there may not be completely correct. But also keep in mind that every individual situation is different. From one universal child to the other, from one light worker to the other. Everybody is different. So don't be surprised if you don't fit this exact mold. Keep in mind, or basically, so what may be true for the majority of people may not be true for yourself or someone else that you've talked to. So keep an open mind while receiving this information, and always keep in mind that as of today's date, what we know now, this information is believed to be accurate and true. And it is shared with love and light for you and from many different souls that are working hard to bring you closer to your soul's journey and your soul's heritage. So, if you still want to go on this ride with me, here we go. You should find, though, that if any of this information applies to you, that it will, on some level, resonate with you. And it'll seem somewhat familiar, or you may feel drawn to it, or like you have a connection to it. It may not be really strong or really obvious, but you should feel something on some level that it connects with you. So as your soul further remembers who you are, you should be able to begin to discern this information for yourself, which will be very helpful. And I have been able to discern certain websites and say, no, that just don't sound right. I asked my guide, sure enough, I'm correct. And you'll develop that ability too. So think of this as a starting point or a reference point that you will use to begin you on your journey to learning more and finding your own truth. So what exactly are universal children, starseeds, or cosmic kids? Well, we'll get into that, but first let's address the fact that not everybody is one. But I am finding that the majority of people that are light workers or that are spiritually awakening right now are some form of one. They may be a universal child, they may only be a light worker, and I don't mean only in the sense of it's any lesser importance, because it's not. We're all equally important in the roles that we play as light workers. But you may be some other type of light worker, and I'm really finding that if you were drawn to this class and came here, chances are you are a light worker of some sort, and there's a very good possibility that you are a universal child. So as you, but the term universal child or universal children refers to several types of light workers. You may have heard of some of them: the crystal children, indigos, starseeds, children of the blue ray, or the rainbow children. Those are the most popular. And while there are many, many, many types out in the universe, these are the most common groups and the ones we know the most about. We have the most information and knowledge on them, so we can share them because of that. But some people call this group of light workers starseeds, and that's okay because a lot of people do, but it gets confusing because there's an actual subgroup of this type of light worker or universal child that's called a starseed. So when you call the whole bunch of them starseeds, it gets really confusing. So I prefer to use the word universal children, or some people call them star people, so that's okay. But I really like the nickname Cosmic Kids because I think that is a really cool name for some really cool kids, cool adults too. I think we're all kids at heart, especially the more spiritual we are, we find that inner child. But so for the sake of that, I'm going to use the term universal children or cosmic kids, but mostly universal children through this class so that we don't get confused on the whole starseed thing. Okay, so, oops, sorry, I'm losing my phone. So you might hear me talk throughout this class about light workers. And some of you are familiar with what a light worker is, but some of you may not be, and that's okay. I wasn't either until I got further into my journey. And it's a really good question. So a light worker, and there's a lot of ways to describe them. Some people will describe them one way and give one definition, and some people will describe them a different way, but it should all still have the overall definition. And a light worker is someone that follows a path of love and good intention. They carry the strong desire to spread light, love, and knowledge, especially about spiritual awakening to their fellow man. They feel compelled to help others, just naturally. They have a desire to help. And most of them have a personal mission in life to learn life lessons that will assist in helping other people. They learn incredible things like compassion, patience, unconditional love, integrity, and forgiveness. And their souls actually agree to this mission prior to being born, and they then, along with their spirit guides, spirits, and angels, map out a plan of how to live their life so they can learn these important lessons that will teach them these attributes that I just mentioned. It can oftentimes include very difficult paths, such as trauma, disability or disease, or even great loss. But the lessons they learn sculpt them into being amazingly warm, loving beings that then can understand things on a far greater level so that they can empathize and then help others that they encounter on their path. Most of these light workers spiritually awaken and remember this plan on some level, and then they help others to embark on their spiritual journey just by setting a good example or having some type of work that they do. Some light workers, though, come with a larger, more global mission for humanity. And those particular ones I'm talking about are the universal children. Now, before we get in further to what I think it's to discussing these, I think it's important to point out that all universal children are light workers, but not all light workers are universal children. So you'll get to learn what universal children are through this class, but just keep that in mind, that you can be a light worker without being a universal child. You can be a different type of light worker. But a universal child is a type of light worker. So this is a really exciting time in history because many people are awakening spiritually more than ever, and more than ever before in human history. And if you do not know what it means to spiritually awaken, then if you're interested, please visit the video section. I'm still probably going to be using that. I told you I would let you know. You can take it for the moment, but I'm going to need it back. You need to check back with me. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, if you're not sure what it means to spiritually awaken, I have a video on that in the video sections of this web page. So please feel free to join that video to learn more about spiritually awakening, because if I go into that, that's a whole nother class in and of itself. But if you, I say this because we're not going to go too far into spiritual awakening, but it's going to be discussed throughout this. So going back and learning about what it all means will help you understand this more. But in a nutshell, just to help you understand the class, when we are born, we forget the things that I mentioned before, like how we planned out our life and agreed to our life purpose and our mission. And spiritually awakening is basically starting a path to remember those things and, in essence, discovering who we are at a soul's level. Universal children are a very special kind of light worker because besides choosing to live the life I mentioned before as a light worker, they also come here with the mission of helping humans, Earth humans, to set the example that will help lead the rest of humanity to begin to spiritually awaken. It has to be their choice, though, so let me make this clear. It's not their job to make people spiritually awaken. It has to be their choice. They are given free will by God, but they have to decide if they want to awaken, and then also that helps determine when and how they'll awaken. But they have to learn enough of their life lessons first to help ready them to receive that information. So universal children can really inspire them. They can set the example. They can plant a seed to help people spiritually awaken, but they can't make them. And I see some that really feel like they get frustrated because they can't, you know, really get their loved one to awaken, and they kind of push that on them, and I think it pushes them way more than it does help. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that, because that's a really heavy burden to think that you have to try and help all your family and friends awaken, and that's not the case. But hey, I see several more of you have joined, so I just want to let you know that I'm so glad you're here, but I am going to hold the comments till the end so that I can get through the information, and then we'll talk more at the end. But I'm so glad you joined, so thank you for coming. Okay, so basically, universal children set the example of living their life in unconditional love and kindness, and they follow their own spiritual path. This in turn makes people curious and want to learn more. It helps them to be exposed to spirituality and awakening by being around them, and it can lead them to making the decision to follow their own spiritual path. But universal children's biggest job is just to love everyone unconditionally. By just doing this in and of itself, it has such a huge impact, because others see so little of this nowadays from people. Just people that love unconditionally and want nothing in return. So when they see somebody like this that just gives to them without expecting anything, it really makes them want to know why, and it makes them intrigued and curious, and it makes them want to get to know that person and be more like them. And they tend to then research what's going on and figure it out. They want to know what's the catch and how can I be like this person. Another part of spiritual awakening that is important to mention is that Earth humans have gotten very far away from their initial Earth blueprint, or of the innocent beings of unconditional love that they were created to be. And after thousands of years of free will, we have kind of botched it up, and we've gotten further and further away from the plan, or as some people believe, the experiment, that we were created to be an experiment, but further and further away from the plan that God had for us initially. So the Creator asked universal children to volunteer to come to Earth at this time to help people remember who they are at a soul's level, so that they can begin to get back to the original mission of being souls of unconditional love. There is a whole process that will happen in time to assist us humans in doing this, but there has to be a way to help transition humans back to the way that they were. And universal children were the ones that were before being born. They actually agreed to this mission, and they agreed to lead the way and prepare mankind to spiritually awaken and ascend to a place of unconditional love, eventually to a place of shifting to another dimension. But that's all in the Spiritual Awakening course, if you'd like to learn more. So let's start at the very beginning. So this will help you understand it more. In the beginning, universal children, like all other children, started as a soul essence, basically an essence of energy, born of the Creator, or as some would prefer to refer to, creation energy. So whether you believe in God, Goddess, or whatever, when I refer to Creator, I'm referring to this being that you may believe in, God or Goddess. But if you do not believe in this being, one that created us, I'm not here to debate that. But I've been told, I personally believe, because I've been told by spirit that have crossed over as well as the angels, that there is one God, one creator, but to have to decide for yourself, I mean, that's up to you. And so for those that choose not to believe or you're not sure, you can think of souls as being created of a creation energy, and that they're a soul essence made of energy. Now, for those that initially incarnate on Earth and nowhere else, they are created as a soul and then born into a human mother's body. But for universal children, they are evolved beings, meaning spiritually evolved, more advanced spiritually than others, that are from another planet, star system, or galaxy. And their mission, like I said, as at a larger global mission, is to assist Earth and its people to a new age of light and reason, an age of unconditional love and positivity where there's no room for negativity. So a universal child's soul is created like those that initiate on Earth. However, their soul started on this other planet or star system, and it's called being seeded. So whatever planet you're initially from, that you were seeded from that planet. But they don't actually live there usually, not initially. They're seeded there and their souls created there by the same God, regardless to whether you're created on Earth or another planet, it's all still created the same way. And if you believe in the Bible, this all is, we're still created the same way as they talk about in the Bible. And the Bible just specifies specific things that most people associate with Earth. But it doesn't say in the Bible that we weren't created elsewhere as well. They actually, once your soul is seeded, it then travels to Earth to be born into an Earth mother. So you don't eat, you're seeded, created there, but then you're immediately born into a mother here on Earth, and you live a life on Earth. It travels to Earth, and then just like the other Earthling souls is born. And at that time, at the time that your soul is seeded, there are many others that are seeded from that same planet and that same home at the same time. These people that were created at the same time from the same planet or galaxy, star system, whatever, this is your soul family. A lot of people ask what a soul family is, and that in essence is usually what people refer to when they're talking about that. The beings, whether it be Earth or another planet. The beings from this planet are your soul family. But those that are seated at the same time from the same place have a deep connection with you and share many traits, characteristics, and often a similar life mission. So even despite any separation that happens once you're born on Earth, you can often feel a draw or pull towards these types of people that are from your soul family. So you may not be able to explain it, but you may meet that person and not know why. You just feel like you've known that person before. You feel drawn to them on a deep level, or like you have a family type connection, but you don't know why. It's quite possible that that person belongs to your soul family. You may be, the cool thing is though, because you're so connected, many things in soul families many beings incarnate and reincarnate together over and over again in many lifetimes. So you may play different roles in each other's lives from lifetime to lifetime. You may even be a different gender, but usually at some point you will meet again in each lifetime, whether it be for a long period of time, for years and years and years, or it may be for a short time, whatever your purpose is to be in each other's life at that lifetime. So you'll usually meet again and play some type of part in each lifetime with each other. Now, from what I understand, most Earth humans are from other planets. Most of us are, whether we know it or not. But there are exceptions to the rule, some that just incarnate here initially. But But universal children are not the only souls that are from other planets. Most people are and just don't know it because they're not awake to know it. So, as I mentioned before, prior to being born, the soul makes choices in what they want and still need to create and experience through different life lessons. Most souls incarnate many lifetimes, learning more and more life lessons each life, which advances them spiritually even more and more onto their ascension. They may incarnate here on Earth or on other planets, but usually many on Earth before finally fully spiritually awakening and fulfilling their life purpose. Those lessons they learn along the way prepare them for their spiritual awakening and give them the knowledge that they need to be successful at their mission. So if you're spiritually awakening now in this lifetime, then you probably have already lived many lifetimes with your soul becoming more and more spiritually advanced each time. And now, in this period of time, you are ready at this crucial time in history to awaken. And if you're a universal child, you are now here to assist all of the other people that haven't awakened yet, to help them to awaken as a collective. So you might wonder, okay, so what if you have this wonderful planet? Why would you choose to come here? Because as humans, we can take this planet for granted and not recognize, especially knowing how tough life can be. We know being a human is not easy, so why? Why would another being want to come here and live this life? Well, most beings come here to Earth in some capacity to serve others and to assist in the universal plan that I just talked about, or the bigger picture for all souls in the universe. This bigger picture is to help bring the world back into alignment with the original blueprint for life and unconditional love, like I spoke about. You may hear me repeat these things a couple of times because it can be quite confusing and hard to understand. So if I explain it a little differently in how it pertains to another subject in the next paragraph or so, it can help you understand it differently. It might be easier to understand if I repeat it. So there's certain themes through this that you might hear me say a couple times, but that's because they're very important. So they also come to Earth, though, out of curiosity and intrigue, wanting to experience the Earth human existence, which is unlike any other type of existence anywhere else in the universe. Life on Earth is meant to be a place where our souls can expand and flourish in a profound way, in ways that are not possible anywhere else in the universe. So Earth is considered quite unique and intriguing to others in the universe. So now, while we may come to Earth, our planet that we came from continually holds space for us, a space of love and a pure connection for us to be a part of. So even though we are seated in a different planet, but we don't even live there, we come straight to Earth to live, that planet still holds a deep connection to us, and they hold a place of love for us that we can always come back to and always have a deep connection with. So our soul family and the families that we left behind there. These beings on our soul planet, they're like godparents, basically. They know our soul, they know what we want, what we need, and our purpose, and they know enough about us that they will work hard behind the scenes to try and help us. Not all of them, but a great deal of them are working behind the scenes to help us with our life purpose and humanity as a whole. They are helping to work with in alignment with our mission to fulfill our purpose, to help align everyone in the collective with the universal mission. We are a part of a collective of souls that are deeply connected on many levels. So if you haven't gotten in touch with your soul yet, with your soul's journey, then you may experience a type of longing, a deep longing, because you're actually feeling separation that you don't even realize. You feel separated from the deepest part of you, basically what you know about yourself and your soul family, and your original planet, your home. But this feeling of separation is an illusion. You are still connected to that and all of it. You just don't realize it because you forget until you awaken it. There is truly no place like Earth. It's totally unique. It's a vital part of the universe in the sense, and to all beings within the universe. It's critical that Earth remains a place of light to help balance the whole galaxy and shift the whole galaxy into light. All souls have an investment in the Earth's best interest because it actually affects things on a galactic level. Things can appear pretty dark, especially for us humans. We may think that humanity is slipping into the darkness and we're losing a battle that we can't win, and it's taking over the Earth. But that's only on the surface, what we see. Plans are actually in effect that you don't realize to ensure that love and light will prevail, and you have a universal voice. You guys can laugh at me because I could use it. Good laugh too, so go ahead. A universal force. Okay. There is a universal force in you that is helping to make that happen. So may the force be with you, right? Because it is. When you reignite everything that you forgot, and everything that you begin to remember, as you reunite with your soul, your heritage of your soul and your soul family, you feel a kinship with your mission and others that have the same mission. So reconnecting with them will help you remember, and it also help you connect to your gifts, any spiritual abilities that you have, that you actually left at the door, Earth's door, when you entered here. When you enter Earth's door, you actually enter Earth's field of separation, they call it. And while you're there, you feel a need to be understood, while you're here, excuse me. You want to be understood as a soul, as who you are. And because you're not being recognized for who you truly are, you don't even know it, but subconsciously, it makes you feel lost because you don't even really remember who you are. So I hear a lot of people talk about feeling lost, feeling like they don't fit in, feeling like they're not from here. And these are the reasons that you feel that way, unless you know that there's a different reason. If you don't know why and you can't figure it out, this is probably why. So knowing your soul's heritage helps you to know your destiny, your purpose, and your soul family. Another way we may feel lost is when we enter the Earth's energy field. We wanted to be connected to the vastness of the universe and what other planets recognize, the feeling of oneness with the universe. But unfortunately, Earth humans do not know of this connection to these things about oneness with the universe and how big and vast it is. A lot of us only think and believe that life only exists here, and if it is out there, it has nothing to do with us, or they're out to get us, and if they come here, they're going to try and hurt us. Well, that can be true, but it's not true for most beings from other planets. Not going to say it's not, and there are definite scenarios and situations that every planet is not friendly, but the majority really is and has a common interest in everything that goes on here and within the galaxy as a collective. So, since most Earth humans don't know about this connection, we kind of have no choice but to go ahead and align ourselves with the human side of it, the human experience, because we're here now and it's kind of out of survival. We align with humanity, and by doing this, we start to feel separated from that initial connection that we knew of the vastness and the oneness with everything. So this can make us feel alone as well, alone in the world, where we want to feel connected to something, but we feel separate, like we don't quite fit in completely. This disconnection, along with other things, created a denser field of energy on this planet. The connection, this denser field of energy didn't just cause us to feel separated, but it made us forget all that we knew prior to birth and caused us to forget the amazing gifts and abilities that we had prior to coming into Earth. But the good news is that each time we reincarnate to Earth, we see more clearly and get more closer to being fully awakened. Each time we come back, we see more clearly that we are not separated, and that we increase the power of light here by holding true to our soul's destiny. The largest part of our soul's purpose is just to wake up and to learn this stuff again and to realign with it all. But we already, with what we already knew. But the majority of people are choosing not to do this. And it's, a lot less people that are choosing it than are. And our reconnecting to our soul and light and love will actually make it easier for those others to awaken. We are leading the way for humanity to reconnect as a collective. Thanks to us, more and more children are being born today without having to go through that field of separation. They're actually moving through energetic portals of light created in recent years through the activity of us awakening and the help of outside beings and source. So they're able to come in with almost an absolute connection, unlike the rest of everybody else. They're also being born to parents who have had the experience of reconnection, so these children can now know and connect through the mentoring of these parents. And basically they are like godparents as well, who are holding the reality of connection on Earth present for these kids. So some of these children are being born completely connected, some even remembering everything, including their gifts. And while others may be born to parents that are awakening now, or some are being born to parents that are awakening now, that aren't fully awakened yet, haven't completely reconnected yet, but they're in the process. And because they're so far enough along, they can have children that are born partially awake, and they will awaken much earlier and faster than the rest of the children because their parents continue to rapidly awaken in their lifetime. So, for example, myself, I only recently began awakening in the last year and a half, knowing it. I was awakening way before and I didn't realize it. Wasn't aware of what it was. But I have a daughter who's 18 that started awakening just a couple years ago as well, and it's great because we're going through this process together. Well, she wasn't one of the universal children that's born completely awakened, knowing everything and in her full abilities, but she's awakening at a much younger age than I did and other people are, because she was born to a parent that is far enough along in the awakening process at this point that I can help her and mentor her, and we can create a bond and work through this together. So that's why a lot of awakening parents have children that are awakened or awakening, or they're all universal children. They're also being more and more advanced old souls born at this time to be living examples of what type of life we need to live and to maintain a spiritual connection. But there are also many, many other factions that are aiding in bringing us all into alignment. One is these amazing children of clarity and love, here to intensify feelings of reconnection and spirituality now. But there are also others, like other planets, or what some people would call extraterrestrials. They're just other beings just like us that are working from the outside to help us and guide us. Another faction is the Council of Light, as well as divine beings, angels, spirits, and God. So we have a lot of help along the process. They're all working behind the scenes from their own dimensions, homes, and they're sending channeled messages to those here that have the ability to hear them and understand them. They're guiding us on what and how to realign and help others do the same. So if you ever hear of these channeled messages from like the Palladians, the Arcturians, or others, that is why these humans are receiving these messages. They are messages of love, guidance, wisdom, and support, helping us to all come back together as one from beings from elsewhere that have a vested interest in what's going on here. And it is my hope that after you've learned about each of these types of universal children, that if you are one, maybe something you will hear here will resonate with you and help trigger a memory or something that may nudge you into finding out more information. So I'm going to now tell you about the different types of universal children there are, and I want you just to pay attention and kind of see if any of these resonate with you or if they make sense to you for any of your family members. Because just because one of you is not a universal child doesn't mean that somebody else in the family wouldn't be. I have 3 children. 2 of them are, 1 is not. If you have 2 parents that are universal children, you have even more likely to have all of your children be 1. So as I read them, now because of being sick yesterday, I didn't have the chance to put this all into my notes, so I'm going to be reading from my resources. So bear with me if I have to go from page to page. But I'm going to start with the first one of this group that came first, and that's the Children of the Blu-ray. So let me find the Blu-rays. The Blu-rays are basically they're around my age. But what I would like you to know and understand is, as you do your own research and you read these different websites, please do not worry about the ages. The ages are irrelevant. They may be a guidelines per se, or an average of the age timelines that these children were born, but they are by no means set. And like, perfect example is if you read a lot of the resources, it basically says that Blu-rays are all around my age. They start awakening in their 30s up to like 50, 35 usually as the average age. So when I found out that my little boy was a Blu-ray, I didn't believe it. Or there was doubt in my mind. I didn't think that was possible because everything I read said he had to be around my age. So I thought he was more likely to be an Indigo. But it's not true. And a very good psychic told me that he's absolutely a Blu-ray. I went to my guides. I asked my angels. I confirmed with his guides. He is definitely a Blu-ray. And once I went back and reread the characteristics, they are very fitting. They do fit him perfectly. And now I've had lots of signs since then that have reconfirmed time and time again that he is indeed a Blu-ray. So while a lot of this information is accurate that you're going to see on the websites, the ages almost are always wrong. So don't pay attention to any of the ages, except where the ages pertain to when they start to awaken. A lot of that is true. Per se, most crystal children start to awaken in their mid to late teens. That is true. It's not always the case. There are exceptions to the rule, but it is definitely possible that that will be the case for you if you are a crystal child. Now, when they're talking about when you begin to spiritually awaken, it doesn't mean that you don't start to awaken much earlier than that. It means when you really start to realize it, when you recognize that something is happening, that you're spiritually awakening, or when you start to discover your abilities. That's what they mean by that age. because for me, I started awakening around the time that Blu-rays are supposed to, but that was the period that I started to discover it and realize it. I'd actually been going through the dark night of the soul much longer, way before it, and I had no idea. So that age is basically talking about when you are become aware of it, or like what a spiritual awakening is, or you come into your full power. It could mean that as well. You may have been aware all your life. You may have known that you were this way. You may have had your gifts your whole life, but you may not come into the full power of them and have them fully develop until this time much later in life. So, with the children of the Blu-ray, children of the Blu-ray earn their name because they travel through an ultraviolet blue light array that they call to get here in this physical plane of Earth. They are the first incarnation that must endure a disability before awakening around the age of 35, give or take some for people. They are extremely sensitive, loving, and troubled souls. They accept this path for the opportunity to help humanity grow and enlighten. Due to their disability, they often struggle and remain unnoticed, tormented internally, unable to express the beauty and knowledge and wisdom they possess. When they awaken, they do so with a bang, quickly grasping the skills and embracing the path they committed themselves to before incarnating in this physical plane. So once they start to realize their awakening, it happens quickly. I forgot to tell my source. As I read some of these, I'm going to tell you who my source is because I'm quoting these directly. So this came from Airmyth's website, airmyth.com, from a amazing psychic. It's healwithairmyth.com. So if you want to learn more about her channeling and things, you can visit her website. But being told that children are Blu-ray at a younger age is not going to help speed up their process. Until then, they have to learn all their life's lessons to help prepare them. They cannot move forward into the next stage till they're ready. To work with a child of the Blu-ray, use divination that resonates with them. So that may be oracle, runes, tea leaves, numerology, or one of many forms of divination. Do not discard the signs that they see in things, the sixth sense that they have toward people, places, and circumstances. These latent gifts are still considerable and must be acknowledged for these children to truly prosper. So if you tell this child it's not real, it's not happening, you're imagining things, they will probably block it out and believe you. So you really need to help your child and acknowledge what they're seeing and feeling. It's not an easy road to travel as a Blu-ray, but neglect of who they are will leave them feeling lost, alone, and out of place in this world. Embrace these beautiful souls. Nurture, learn, and grow with them, whether they be children or adults. Their purpose, as is that of the universal children, and what they will bring to the world when they fully awaken, is understanding and healing that few others can relate to. They are a gift to humanity. They are a sixth sense waiting to happen, and they are the epitome of appreciation when their gifts unfold before them. They have very difficult lives and will awaken to their full gift, usually, like I said, mid-30s. The trials they go through, whether that be physical, mental, or emotional disability, will lead them to understand and help others. It'll help them to relate and empathize with others in a similar situation. As they awaken to their gifts, they heal, and as such, they also step into a role of healing others. As they appreciate the wellness they now feel, all Blu-rays also, this is very interesting, but Blu-rays are the only universal children that have a set totem animal, power animal. And all Blu-rays have a hawk as their power animal. So if you are a Blu-ray, you may notice a lot of hawks hanging around. The life purpose of a Blu-ray child is to resonate and understand people. They have the most remarkable healing abilities when they fully step into their gift. So, just to tell you a little more detailed traits before we move on to the next one is traits of the blue ray to help you identify. They are teachers of teachers. They are brilliant connectors of the essence of love in infinite form. They are ultra-sensitive empathic souls, like the Indigos, that come from a different ascended planet. And that's basically it. There's more, but basically you're going to hear about the Indigos next. Blue rays are a lot like Indigos. They have a lot of the same traits as Indigos, but they tend to be a little more passive and not quite so aggressive. Indigos are go, go, go fighters, warriors. They speak their mind and speak up. Where blue rays tend to be a little more quiet and reserved. They tend to hold things in and avoid drama, but they do almost all the other same things as Indigos. Blue rays actually came first to help set the way for the rest of the universal children, and because of that, we tend to get lost. I personally am a blue ray, as well as my son. We tend to get lost and forgotten about because we do a lot of things in quiet without needing a lot of acknowledgement, and the others kind of like are the squeaky wheels. So blue rays are sorry, I wanted to get to a specific part here. Okay, so like I mentioned, most humans on Earth are seeded from some planet or other galaxy. Most are Pleiades, but the blue ray are the one group that is exclusively from Sirius. So if you are a blue ray, or you think you might be, and you wonder what planet you seeded from, majority of all blue rays, actually most blue rays, unless there's an exception for some reason, like you're actually more than just a blue ray, you seeded from Sirius. They are the I am race. Most souls do not live in Sirius, but they seed from there and then come here. But the extraordinary thing about blue rays are they're unusually protected by divine beings. The archangels, the hierarchs are very protective of the blue rays because they need divine protection for the dangerous magnetic environment that they are thrown into, all through and for the huge voltages of light they carry that by itself serves as an inconceivable magnet that draws all darkness into its fold so it can be transfigured. These beings carry the violet fire in their aura and are powerful alchemists. Their DNA actually transmutes the darkness and the negativity. This being a reason they travel a lot, and behind them they light trails of chaos as their footprint recedes from the place. It's like automotive purging wherever they are. And they live anyway, so they basically, just in their DNA and by being around people, they help heal a little at a time. So, okay, here's the qualities that I was looking for. But they do need protection all the time because they, especially from the Ascended Masters, they tend to have a lot of Ascended Masters around them because they take in so much of this negativity and darkness on a regular basis, transmuting it. And the qualities are the will of God, the power of God, the protection of God, nobility, regality, integrity, and responsibility are all the qualities of the blue ray 1, which is the ray that we came in on, so we tend to resonate those traits. And if you're interested as a blue ray, the symbol of the blue ray is the blue diamond after Lord El Morea's identity symbol. So it's really important for the blue rays to understand that they're never alone because they will feel alone a lot at times. And I skipped a lot of great information on here. Sanjita Honda wrote this and is my resource for this. And she is an amazing channeler. She can channel some amazing things. And this came off of the soulmatrix.com. And you look up the Blu-ray ones on that soulmatrix.com. Sanjita Handa wrote this. Blu-rays also tend to resonate very, very high. But that's pretty much it about the Blu-rays. So we'll move on to the next. We're getting there because the others, as we go through this, I don't have much more after I tell about the actual individual groups. And then we'll open it up for discussion. So, okay. So this is really cool. There's an exception to the Blu-ray rule, and sometimes it's extremely rare. Most universal children are one type or the other. They're not more than one, they're just one. So they're a crystal child, they're an indigo, or a Blu-ray, or a rainbow, starseed, but they're not more than one. Every once in a while, there is an exception to this. And one of those exceptions is called the first wave Blu-ray Indigos. And the first wave Blu-ray Indigos are very confusing to explain. The reason I'm mentioning this is because you may really resonate with the Indigos, but then you read about the Blu-ray or hear about them, and then you really resonate with them, and you wonder, I can't decide. I don't think I'm one or the other. I feel like I'm part of both. If you feel that way, it's a small chance, but there is a chance you could be, you could be kind of both. So think about your astrological signs. You can be one particular sign, but be on the cusp of the other sign, the next sign, and because you're so close to the next sign, you can actually take on some of those traits of that astrological sign. So the same thing kind of happened with Blu-rays and Indigos. Blu-rays came here to pave the way for Indigos. Indigos then are born and still being born. We all are. All the groups are. But basically, we are so close in every aspect with the Indigos. A lot of Indigos also being from Sirius. And that we actually tend to take on the traits of both. And we're technically Blu-rays first, Indigo second, but we have the, and I am seeing your comments as we go along here. I'll respond to them a little bit later. So hang in there. And if you have a question, please write it down as we go so you don't forget. But yes, it's called First Wave Blu-ray Indigo. And we're basically like the first wave of Blu-rays that are right on the edge of the Indigos and have these things in common. And basically, they're supposed to be the rarest group. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I was told, that it's the rarest group out of them all. And the way somebody explained it to me is that they're like an indigo, but from another octave. So we're still in the same tones, but just an octave higher. We're often mistaken for indigos. Very familiar, but just a few different traits. And just like indigos and Blu-rays, we tend to have a lot of disabilities or disease, physical maladies, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, phantom illnesses that we can't find the point or the reason for. And that's because we're so empathic that we're constantly taking on other people's energy and energy from the environment and around the planet. And it's really important that we learn how to ground and protect ourselves, because then if we're not getting rid of this energy that we're taking on, it tends to stay physically within us and starts to manifest in the form of physical ailments. Now, like I said before, some of our physical ailments are part of our life lessons that we need to learn from. But at the same time, there comes a point in time when we need to be able to learn to get rid of that. When that lesson's up and we don't need to know that lesson anymore or learn anymore from it, we need to be able to protect ourselves and keep from getting sick. So it's also important that we then learn how to consciously do this work so that we can avoid, in a conscious way with intent, so that we can avoid these physical things. So that's the first wave Blu-ray indigo. First wave Blu-ray indigo. Then there's the beautiful indigos that we've heard so much about. They are basically born with their gift. They have the ability to communicate with their guides and angels from the beginning, and around 60% of these children will block this gift, though, due to not understanding what's going on or being told that it's not real. This often happens around the age of 2. They will then begin to reawaken around the age of 30 or so, give or take a little bit, and this is like a catalyst in their DNA that will initiate this process. Despite blocking the gift, though, they continue to have a psychic connection with the spirit realm. Even though they're blocked, they will still have some form of psychic connection. All indigo children have indigo colored eyes, but there are exceptions to that rule because certain things can change the colors of your eyes. Food, diet, allergies, a lot of things can affect the color of your eyes, but the majority of the time, and initially, indigos are born with indigo or bluish colored eyes. And most indigos have a dolphin as their power animal. I believe that is actually the case for all of them, but there can be an exception. I know I said that Blu-rays were the only ones, but I forgot. I apologize. Indigos do have dolphin, where the other ones don't have a set power animal. They could have any kind of power animal, but the indigos have the dolphin. And the life purpose of an indigo is to share love, compassion, and use their psychic connection to help people. And I'm trying to hold my phone and keep my phone charging. There are older indigos known as indigo scouts, and younger as well, but the latest number of them were born between 1970 and 1995, but that's not an exact thing. Remember, that's just a guideline. There's some that are much younger, and there's some that are a little bit older. They have indigo auras, not their whole aura, but somewhere in their aura, just like Blu-rays. Blu-rays may have different colored auras, but somewhere at any given time, they have some form of blue or violet in their aura. And the indigos also have violet in their auras. They're connected with their third eye frequency. These children are creative, and some have heightened psychic abilities of clear seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing. These abilities allow them to hear or see spirits, angels, detect dishonesty, or have accurate inner knowing about events, situations, or people. They are sensitive and intuitive. Indigos are intelligent, quick thinkers, quick learners, technologically oriented, and often have amazing memories. They're very academic in situations and are direct, determined, and confident. Now remember, you're not going to have every single one of these. Nobody does. But if you resonate with most of them or a lot of them, then it's very possible you are one. Many display warrior temperaments. This is what I was talking about. Yet they easily get frustrated with routine, rituals, rules, regulations, and are often misunderstood. They can be rebellious and nonconformist, as they only accept authority with free will and respect. Now, this doesn't mean they get in trouble all the time, so don't think that they do. Some of them don't get in trouble at all. They just have that rebellious spirit in them where they question everything and are like, why do I have to go to school? Why do I have to obey the law? Why do I have to listen to the policeman? You know, he's just another human being. And part of that's all true, and they have good reasons for questioning all of this. So it just comes from their level of intelligence and their intuition. They also come across as hyperactive, impatient, inconsiderate, and direct, but loving, and kind, and this relates to their high level of creative energies. Indigos are often diagnosed with ADHD. Blu-rays can be too, because that can be part of their disability they go through. But a lot of indigos are diagnosed with ADHD or some kind of a mental disorder, depression, anxiety. All of these universal children can be, but indigos tend to be more because they're so sensitive. It is therefore important to help them to divert their energies to creative pursuits such as music, creative writing, arts, crafts, or even sports to keep them focused. Indigos are natural leaders. They are wise old souls returning to lead us as in a new age of cooperation, creativity, and functional society, where there will be no corrupt and deceit, no corruption. Now, this is from Gostica, which is a great website. Gostica.com has some amazing things in it. So that pretty much is, in a nutshell, who Blu-rays are, but I'll finish with that one. There is one more thing I wanted to show you on the Blu-rays. Sorry, I missed. Oh, okay. Here we go. When I said indigos, I meant indigos. Oh, nope, that's it. Okay. So Blu-rays, all of those traits, if they resonate with you, indigos. See, I told you they get easily confused. But they're very close. The Blu-rays just don't tend to have that as strong of temperament or rebellion. They have a part of it that makes them question everything, but they're not quite as out there in your face as much as indigos. So that's the indigos, and next would be the crystal children. Crystal children come to the realization of their gift usually around the age of 18, some a little earlier. Before this time, these children will suffer physical or emotional trauma. They often go through depression, anxiety. The awakening in itself can lead to confusion and isolation as they do not understand fully what's going on. Once these children fully step into and accept their gift, they find themselves filled with joy. Life is blessed for these children when they accept their true path, and the life purpose of crystal children is to heal the world with joy, laughter, and to share a freedom of soul that few possess. That again is from Heal with Arameth. They are here to show the way to peace and acceptance. They are also called the peacemakers. Crystals love water, animals, plants, nature, and rocks. They are generous, highly affectionate, and forgiving, also extremely sensitive to everything in their environment. They're highly telepathic. They can read minds and people's energy. A lot of them tend to not be verbal as young children. Some wait till up to 3 or 4 years old before they start verbalizing things because they're telepathic and they don't feel a need to communicate verbally. Even though the adults don't understand what's going on, sometimes they're diagnosed with autism or something else, which is not true. They can speak, they just don't feel the need to because they're partially remembering that they're telepathic and know that there's a better way. But a lot of them are very verbal at a very young age. They can communicate with a lot of their parents telepathically, sometimes even before birth, even though they don't fully awaken till 18. They are born into the gold ray of incarnation and evolution, which means they have access to gifts of clairvoyance and healing. They're born on the 6th dimension of consciousness with the potential to open up rapidly to the 9th dimension level of consciousness. And then from there to the 13th dimension, which represents universal consciousness. The first thing you recognize about crystal children is their forgiving nature. They are very sensitive, warm, and caring. Don't mistake these, though, as a sign of weakness, because they are very powerful. They're incredibly sensitive, which stems from the ability to feel the universal consciousness, which is no freaking joke. My daughter can sense every huge thing that's going on, and Before she realized it, she was having panic attacks and anxiety attacks when there were terrorist attacks in other countries, before she even knew what was happening. So very in tune with the collective. You won't be able to hide anything from them, and you won't be able to lie to them either. They will know immediately. It's important to mention that crystal children know what is in their thoughts, and even more importantly, what is in your heart. What is in your thoughts and what's in your heart. They actually have a crystal vibration, and they have the ability to reflect things back to the universe naturally. And they're things that are of no importance to them. Crystal children are actually born with a crystalline aura. We, going through our spiritual awakening, actually are continually, all the energy shifts and the different astrological events are helping prepare our body and turn it from a carbon body to a crystalline body so that we can actually physically handle other dimensions as they come. Crystal children are actually born with a crystalline aura, and their body is already partially crystalline and adapted. That's why they're so easily move within the dimensions and have these abilities. Not only will they reflect this energy back, they will reflect it in such a way that it's stronger than how it was taken in. So you better not send no crud to no crystal child, or you're going to get it back tenfold. The trouble comes about when crystals are judged by medical and educational personnel as being abnormal, and they are just incredible, incredible beings. I can speak to that based on my experience with them. They're basically see the world through unveiled eyes with great wisdom. So, that's the crystal children. Rainbow children. Rainbow children are amazing as well. All of these people are, and I know at least one from every one of these groups, and I'm honored to know these people. They really are special people with huge hearts. I mean, they agreed to go through torment and torture to learn these life lessons to help humanity. They put themselves last, and they help everybody else and put everybody else first. And a lot of times, to the detriment of their own well-being. That's just how wonderful these people are. Rainbow children will deal with many life trials before they unlock their gift. They must suffer also and endure considerably to learn and understand what it is needed to fulfill their destiny. Despite the trials they deal with, they remain upbeat and positive whenever the opportunity presents. They have many positive traits, and when they step into their gift in or around their early 40s to their fullest, they will shine. They develop very quickly into their gifts, mastering it and becoming powerful healers. This, combined with their natural empathy and generosity, is what allows them to achieve their personal life purpose. They are perfectionists by nature, natural mentors, intuitive, and love nature. The life purpose of a rainbow child is to recognize and help other universal children to find their feet and to grow into their potential. So some rainbow children literally do just that, like they dedicate their lives to helping other universal children. That's not necessary. If that's not what you resonate with, you don't feel like doing that, and you're a rainbow child, that's great. You can help animals, you can help nature, you can help the other things you resonate with. But by nature, you help people, and that's a beautiful thing. They are also the third generation of the special new children. So Blue Ray, Indigo, and Rainbow children is the order that they came in. And they came to help humanity evolve. The Rainbow children are generally born in the year 2000 and above. But again, like I said, don't take the ages correct. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. In some cases, there may also be a few scouts that came to Earth before the 2000, and the few rainbow children that are here today are born from early crystal scouts that were born before the 90s. Before the 80s. Born on the 9th dimension of consciousness, the dimension of collective consciousness, As many people might have experienced it, the rainbow children bring joy and harmony to their families. Unlike the indigo and crystal children, the rainbow child is born to smile, which is accompanied by their huge hearts that are full of forgiveness. And the couple of rainbows I know are bubbly and smiling and happy. Now, do they have bad days? Absolutely. But they literally just keep a smile on your face because of how amazing their spirit is. They generally recover from a state of negative emotion quickly, and this is also an important key that they hold: emotional mastery. Rainbow children are psychic and have the ability to read people's feelings. This gift is usually revealed as they grow older. They have strong wills and strong personalities. Their gifts do not stop there, though. They're known to be natural healers and instant manifestors, and it is said that whatever they need or desire, they can instantly manifest. They also resonate with color. They're drawn to color, colorful surroundings, brightly colored clothes. Their energy is expressed in other ways, though, as they have high energy, and the enthusiasm is demonstrated in their creativity. They're extremely creative. So that is the rainbow children. And we're almost there. We've got one more to talk about and to wrap up a little bit of information besides that. So, the last group. It's actually the group I can find the least amount of information on, but they are amazing. And that is the group of the Starseeds. They are open to their gift in the first few months of life. They are extremely intuitive and feel so much of what is going on around them, leaving them at times overwhelmed and struggling to cope. This can create an environment that leaves them uncomfortable and unsettled. As parents, it can be difficult to know what to do and how to help, unless you know and comprehend the gift your child is opening up to. All Starseed children have blue eyes, except for, like I mentioned, there are some reasons why their eyes might not be blue, but by rule of thumb, most starseeds have obvious blue eyes. But if they don't, there's a good reason for it, and it doesn't mean they're not a starseed, so don't let that tell you that they're not. Many can have a falcon as their power animal as well, but that is not always the case. The life purpose of the starseed child is to help others. Their amazing empathy lends to incredible insight and understanding of situations, themselves, and other people. Now, the other information I have on starseeds is, if you give me 1 second to find it, about the types of starseeds. There's multiple types, and I have it here. Okay, here we go. They are beings that experience life elsewhere in the universe, like all, and they have a typical starseed. There's different kinds. The typical one may have lived 5 to 50 lifetimes on Earth. Some of these were preparation lifetimes, which include periods of acclimation to being a human on Earth and the development of life missions, leading to the climax of these activities in this current lifetime. As they were fewer lifetimes on Earth compared to the average human being, this leads this group of starseeds to retaining some of their extraterrestrial abilities, such as healing, telepathy, channeling, and with general higher consciousness qualities. I call this group the New Age, the typical starseeds, New Age starseeds, as they often come to Earth at times of rising spiritual awareness, as this is the environment that their gifts can be recognized and when they can truly help others. Many starseeds reading this will identify with this category. But there's also what are called old starseeds. Old starseeds have usually had hundreds of lifetimes on Earth, going back to the beginning of humanity and even the beginning of the planet. They are the guardians of Earth and have strong links to Sirius, which is the spiritual guardian of Earth and humanity. Their life missions are tied into the long-term evolution of the Earth and humanity, and this is why they have willingly incarnated on Earth so many times in order to fulfill these projects. They're often spiritual teachers, shamans, prophets, light workers, especially with the Earth ley lines and its sacred sites. Healers in all kinds, leaders, priests and priestesses. These starseeds hold the wisdom and spiritual knowledge of the ancients, as it has been used on Earth. They are often have the human knowledge of astronomy, astrology, runes, numerology, certain healing modalities, light work, and spiritual ceremonies. They have often mastered the ability to hold a balance between being grounded and being spiritually aligned. This is why they still resonate with their extraterrestrial origins, even though they have lives on Earth for so many lifetimes. Then there is also, the last one is the new starseeds. The new starseeds, not to be confused with the New Age starseeds, the typical ones. The new starseeds have often had few to no previous lifetimes on Earth. They are attracted to Earth and humanity at this time of ascension, as it is easier for them to integrate with humanity now than at previous lifetimes, or previous times. They also have many important gifts for humanity and roles to play in this time of great change, and their energy fields are quite pure and expansive, as they have not been experienced in the process of becoming dense through living on Earth before. That's what I talked about, some of them being open, born now without going through the density, even though, and they don't feel as separated. Even though they have amazing gifts, they can find it hard to integrate within humanity, which is so different from the star beings and worlds that they represent. They simply have no experience at the lower consciousness of humanity. They're often young, and some are seeds of Ashtar. This lifetime is often the beginning of the future cycles of lifetimes on Earth, and so they are preparing for future lives and future missions in life. That's the gist of it. And this came from SiriusAscension.com. Okay, so to wrap up here, I wanted to give you a little last knowledge here. Children that are starseeds, or universal children, in general, as you could hear, can really have a hard time adjusting to their gifts, their abilities, the sensitivities. They have all this energy coming at them that they take in. They don't understand what it is that's affecting their body. That they don't understand the thoughts that they're hearing in their head. A lot of times they can't communicate well. Well, a friend of mine told me that with my son, I should try helping him, because he can't verbalize. He can talk fine, but he can't verbalize his feelings and what he's going through. He just doesn't know the words to say. He's too young. So she suggested that I offer him oracle cards. Angel cards are the best. They do have a deck at Hay House that is for kids. I haven't used it though. I use Doreen Virtue's daily angel cards. That and the Archangel ones are good for kids. And you just, when they're having some rough periods, sometimes that they aren't telling you what's wrong, you lay the cards out and you just ask them to draw them. Amazingly, they already are capable of drawing the right cards. They just automatically do. And it's amazing. The cards that they will hand you are exactly what they're dealing with or struggling with at the time. And it just blows your mind that they're capable of doing this. Now me, I go to do my readings, card readings, and I have to do all kinds of prep work. I got to prepare myself. And my kid comes up, grabs 3 cards, hands them to me, and that's all he has to do. So, but I wanted to bring this up because I'm sure some of you are parents to young universal children, or aunt or uncle, or You may have a friend that has children that are universal children. It is a beautiful tool that you can use to allow your child to express themselves when they don't know how to, because their guides are actually helping them to choose the message that they need to give you. Now, if they can't intuitively tell you what that card means, sometimes the cards have the message written on them. If not, you just read the message that's in the book that comes along with the cards. So if you buy them cards, make sure to buy a deck that has a booklet, a message booklet, because they're not necessarily going to just be able to channel off something that Spirit tells them. The messages in the book are perfect because their guides will know, guide them to pull the cards that give the message that you need as a parent or caretaker to get out of it. So, I strongly suggest using them. Another thing I wanted to offer is there are, like I mentioned, too numerous of planets to mention in this class. But there are specific ones that tend to be more common that universal children come from. As you heard mentioned twice in the discussion, Sirius is a very common one. A lot of blue rays and crystal children come from Sirius. There are some others, but mostly just blue rays and crystal children. 25% of all universal children come from Sirius. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong, but Pavila, blue rays, starseeds, and rainbows can come from this particular one, but not blue rays, starseeds, and rainbows. 13% of universal children can come from here. Lyra, starseeds, and indigos can come from Lyra. 15% of all universal children come from Lyra. And, rainbow children can come from Sirian, as well as the crystal children, and blue rays, and Euralia. 7%, that's the least common, but 7% of are mostly crystal children, specifically crystal fairy children. I'm not sure what that exactly is, but they come from Euralia. Now, there is so much more information than I just gave you. This is just like the tip of the iceberg. And I strongly recommend that you continue your research on it, but you will find that you kind of hit a dead end at some point because there's just not that much info out there. But if you have abilities to channel and ask questions, please do. You may get a lot more information than what's actually out there. But it's my hope that you've gotten something out of this, that it will have maybe triggered something for you to continue. If you think you may be a universal child but aren't sure, you can ask your spirit guides to help lead you to the answer. Sorry, my dog's trying to get the laptop. Meditate and ask in meditation. You may receive the answer right then and there through meditation, what you are, what type of universal child or not, if you're a light worker or not. You may get it right then and there, or you may receive it later when they guide someone or something into your path to help give you the answer. But you will get the answer one way or another. You can try different types of therapies or readings to learn more and do further research. Attempting to learn more can often, just by trying to learn more and doing a little research, will trigger your own memories or your abilities or knowledge that you have forgotten. But if you'd rather like to find out faster than just waiting to, get the messages, you can see a psychic or a medium that has the ability to find out. Not all of them can, but some. If you just don't want to wait to find out, you want to find out faster, or you tried to find out other ways and it doesn't work for you, you're welcome to contact me. I can let you know if you're a universal child or not, or I can recommend some others that can as well. I can let you know if you are a light worker, a universal child, both. I can even tell you if you're an earth angel. I can usually tell you, not always, but I can usually tell you your power animal and possibly where you're from, where you've seeded from. I can't guarantee that, but I can at least let you know if you're a universal child or not. And if you wanted to do that, you can actually sign up to do my free live readings. The one that's available to the whole public is Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on this page. If you'd like to find out these things about yourself, you can sign up for that. The sign-up sheet is pinned to the top of the page. Just put your name in the comments. And then when it's your turn, you can ask, am I a light worker? Am I a universal child? You can also ask about your spiritual abilities if you want to learn about those if you don't know. Now, if you wanted to get into it deeper and ask a lot more questions, if you wanted to have a longer reading, I do offer those paid. You can visit my services link on my business page and check out the services and the different types of readings that I offer. Just message me on the message button to book or ask any questions. But for a limited time, for 1 week from today, I am offering a Cosmic Kids special for only $10. If you book with me, you can book it, you can pay for it within the next week and then save it and book it anytime if you want. Or you can even get it as a gift certificate. For $10, I will tell you information about whether you're a universal child, a light worker, what type of light worker, if you're not a universal child, and I will tell you basic information about that. Now, for $15 on top of it, for $5 more, for $15, I will also tell you all about your spiritual gifts. So we can combine it all or just do one or the other for $10. So that is a limited offer for 1 week only till next Wednesday. But you don't have to come to me. There's amazing, beautiful readers out there that can do the same thing that I can. So please check them out. But like I said, if you'd like to do it for free, sign up for my Friday night readings. You know what, guys? I do want to take your questions. My phone did die, though, so I'm going to go grab my tablet real quick. So get your questions ready. Get ready to bombard me with them questions or any comments that you have, and I will be right back with you. So just bear with me for a second, and I will be right back. I need to be able to read the comments, and my phone died, so I will return in just a second. Yay, I'm in business. I am in business. So I hope you guys have found this as fascinating as I have. Like I said, there's still so much more that we don't know yet. And yet, you know, look at how much I just taught you, even though it's still such a new topic and we don't know that much. So it's incredibly exciting, I think, to find all this out. And as I said, I didn't even think I believed in this stuff a year or two ago, and to now discover that this pertains to me and my family is incredibly fascinating to me. Okay, I'm logging on, just waiting for the page to come up, and then I will see. Very slowly. This is it. Here we go. Thank you, Penny Lane. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. Oh, Michelle, I actually started 15 minutes late and then had to stop and restart. So I really didn't actually get started till 8:30. So you might not have missed that much or as much as you think you did. Okay, Amaran, at the front of the page, the Divinity, Trinity, and a Wee Bit of Me page, there's a message button. You go and just click message and just send me a message saying that you want to book whenever you want to book it, and I will reply to you and we'll get something set up. So you do that, and all I need is your email address to send you the invoice. Then once we take care of that, we'll get you set up, and we can do it this week within the next couple of days. So let me see what else we said. Latasha, Vea. Did I say Vea was a crystal or a rainbow? I said crystal, right? Latasha, remind me. I'm sorry. I've read for so many people since then. I think she's a crystal child. And I will confirm it for you, Tosh, after this. You're welcome, Amaran. Yeah, Ethel, honey, you might not have missed that much, honestly. I got started so late. We had technical issues. You might have, but you can always go back and watch it. I'm pretty sure she was from Sirius. But you know what? When we get finished here, Tosh, I'll confirm that. I'll double check with my pendulum and my guides to ask, and I will confirm that for you. But just remind me if I told you she was Crystal Child. I know I wrote it down. I just don't have it handy. Yeah, Crystal. Okay, I'm pretty sure she's from Sirius as well, which is what Lexi and I both are too. So who knows what kind of lifetimes we've had with that little girl. But she's amazing. So she is going to come into her own so soon. Oh my goodness, she's going to be a handful. Oh, she's a doll baby though. Okay. Did I miss any questions? If I missed your question, please restate it, because I came in at Lisa saying that's awesome, Angel. And that's all I can go back on here. So please don't, I didn't mean to miss your question. If you did state a question, please put it in here again. And I definitely don't want to miss anybody. Yes, Penny Lane, you can be a mix, but it's extremely rare. In the cases where you are mixed, the one is, like I said, the first wave Blu-ray Indigo, but some of it is because you may have seeded from one planet, but then you went and had lifetimes on another planet. Most people seed from another planet and come to Earth, but there are some that go to another planet and live a lifetime there, in which then they become whatever universal child is from that planet. So that's extremely rare, but it is possible. Oh, Ethel, Blu-rays have a hawk as their power animal. All Blu-rays do. And that is a really cool spiritual animal to have as your power animal. Now, your power animal or your totem is the one that's with you from birth through death. So that never changes. Now, you have some spirit animals that are like messengers that come and go. So you can have like a fox today and a bear next month. That is coming to bring you a certain message. Once you learn that message or get that lesson, then they move on. So they can come and go, but your power or totem animal is with you your entire life. Okay. Okay, Lisa, well, you know what, guys? After this, I'm going to post the websites for these resources and a couple more. I will post them on this page, and you can visit them yourself and go down and look at the traits and compare yourself a little bit more. I know it's hard when I'm like spewing all this out to you for you to be able to write it down fast enough or actually sit and compare from one type to another. So I will share these websites that I got the resources from. They're pretty credible websites. I mean, there's some I wouldn't share. I wouldn't bother to share because they're just ridiculous. But these particular websites I will share on my page once I'm done here. It'll probably be about 15 minutes that it takes me to get them put up, but I promise I'll put them up. Then you can sit down and go from one to the other and write down what traits you resonate from each group with, and whichever one you resonate the most with is probably the group you belong to. Or you may not be a universal child, but if you really feel like it is calling to you and you resonate with it, then you probably are. That seems to be the case with most of the people I read for. Yeah, I got two Lisas back to back here. I was talking to Lisa Hip, but Lisa Weiss Marchacek, yeah, that's the way to do it, really. I mean, the only way you can find out 100% for sure is through your guides or through a reader that can find out through your guides. But to get an idea, a starting point in the meantime until you can be read or find out from your guides, that's what I would do. I'd go through each list of each group, write them out, and whichever one you resonate with the most, you have the most traits from, that's probably the group. And at least get you started. And then I would do some more research on it, read up a little more, and see if it triggers anything for you. Because you might really start to feel a connection to that planet or to that particular group. Michelle, how do we find our totem? That is something just like this that you really need to either ask your guides. You can actually say out loud or in your head, whoever my totem animal is, can you please reveal yourself to me? Please let me know. Show me signs. Then really pay close attention for the next couple of days what animal pops up all over the place. Now you can ask your guides to do the same and show you signs, or you can have a reader find out for you, a medium or a psychic. But if you try asking your animal directly, it is very likely that you will see every time you're on Facebook, all of a sudden a lion keeps popping up everywhere. Or every time you go out of the house in the next few days, you'll see a bunny run across your path, or you'll see 2 or 3 bunnies, or 3 or 4 squirrels playing. Whatever animal keeps popping up, and it's more than usual, chances are that's your totem trying to tell you, this is it, I'm your power animal. So pay attention to that, or yeah, ask a reader, or ask your guides to reveal it to you, but it can take a few days that way. You guys are so welcome. You're welcome, Ethel. Lisa Hip. Your power animal could definitely be a horse. Absolutely. In fact, whatever animal you're really, really drawn to is probably some kind of a guide. It may not be your power animal guide, but it actually could be an actual guide, just like elementals can be your guide. A fairy, a unicorn. Now, if you don't believe any of that, I know it sounds crazy, but it is real. But point being, if you can have a unicorn as your guide, I'm sure you can have a horse as your guide as well. Chances are it is your power animal, though. And if you've been drawn to them your whole life, then I can almost guarantee that's your guide. But if you've just for a short time, like a few years, then it might just be a messenger guide that will come and go. Okay, sorry guys, I told you I was going to have to plug in my laptop. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, what is next? Yes, well, Yes, Alicia, you can have more than one power animal. Most people only have one, but if you are extremely gifted, and you may not even know that you're extremely gifted yet, but that doesn't mean you're not. Um, I just mean that from the standpoint of if you're just embarking on this journey. If you're extremely gifted or you need a lot of protection, you absolutely can have more than one power animal. Most people only have one, but it's very possible. Absolutely. Or you can have one main power animal and then multiple messenger animals, spirit animals that just come in and come and go. You're welcome, Lisa. And yes, Tosh, I will definitely do that. I'll send you the kids deck and let you know, confirm for you that if it's serious or not. You're welcome, Michelle. Yeah, Penny Lane, you just love animals, and that's awesome. I mean, that's because you're a healer and I can, I mean, that's, most universal children are really drawn to animals. Deborah, I don't, I doubt it. I haven't done any readings tonight. I'm just teaching the class. So if you're looking for the reading tonight, no. And I didn't read in the group Tuesday night. So I haven't read since a week, Friday was the last time I read. So no, you probably didn't miss your reading. Yes, it reminds me of Claire with the Unicorns too, Penny Lane. Yeah, that's funny. You're welcome, Lisa. Okay, any more questions, guys? Comments? Anything? I'm so grateful y'all hung in here with me despite all the technical problems. I apologize. You've been so patient and amazing. But yeah, between yesterday and today, I didn't know if tonight was going to happen because I had a lot of stuff happen that was trying to get in the way. But it's all right. Spirit wanted it to happen, knew that we all needed this, so you are very welcome, and thank you so much for hanging in there with me. But if I'm going to go ahead and sign off unless I see another question in the next 30 seconds or so. But if you think of something, in the next couple of days or so, a question that you would like answered, feel free to message me. Like I said, hopefully I'll know the answer. I definitely don't know all the answers about this topic, but I think I know more than the average person by all means, and probably more than the average light worker just because I've made it a mission to learn about it, but I don't have all the answers. So if I don't know it, I will research it and try and find out for you. I'll do the best that I can. Penny Lane. You're so funny. I wish, or I'd be there now, girl. I would love to go straight to the 5D right now. Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. You guys definitely message me if you have any questions in the next couple of days. But find out, take advantage of my special if you'd like. I would love to help you. We can have a lot of fun figuring this out together, and I can give you some great information. Once I know what you are, where you're from, I can give you some further information on how to work with it. So I would love to help you, but I'm just happy that you're interested and going to look into it more. Oh, Michelle says, how do I know if I'm psychically inclined? Well, Michelle, a lot of people will just be able to sense it, even if they don't really have active gifts working that they're aware of. They can just tell that they are more sensitive to things, or they have a lot of deja vu. If you have a lot of deja vu, or you have a lot of dreams that seem really real, or you have a lot of just strange experiences that you can't explain, where it seems like you read people's minds occasionally, and it just seems like it's a coincidence, but it happens every once in a while, or you think of somebody and they wind up calling you or stopping by your house very quickly after you think of them. Anything like that is a very good sign that you probably are psychically inclined. The best way to find out, really, the best way would be to see a psychic or a reader that can tell you. But you don't have to do that. Second best way would be to meditate and do things to get your vibration up, which means carrying around high vibrational crystals with you, spending a lot of time out in nature. There's a lot of different things you can look on the internet about ways to raise your vibration. Singing and dancing can help. Visualizing a lot of things in your mind, and then seeing if all that will raise your vibration. But talking to spirit, talking to your guides, if you do these things on a regular daily basis, your vibration will begin to raise, and all of a sudden, little by little, you'll start to notice your abilities coming out. But I truly am a firm believer, and a lot of people are, that we all have some form of psychic ability. It just needs to be developed. I think we all came here, wherever we originated from, with some form of abilities, and they just got shut down or forgotten. So I can almost guarantee that if you work at raising your vibration, you'll start to see it happen more and more. So if that's happened to you, if you've been saved, had near-death experiences and you've been saved, all of those things are signs that your angels are active around you and you probably have some form of abilities. But if you see a reader, a psychic, or a medium that can tell those things, then you can get a quicker answer, but you can still get the answer on your own. Alicia, if you have dreams that come true, that is a psychic ability. It's like a dream reader, lucid dreamer. There's different types of reading dreams and having visions and dreams, prophecy and things like that. It's definitely a sign that you have abilities. Like I said, everybody has some form of abilities. Some have way more than others. Some just have a little bit. But we're all given abilities to help us through life and to help others. And we just have to tap into those and figure out what they are so that we can develop them, so that we can take advantage of them. Okay, is that it? It doesn't have to be. You can message me and I'll be happy to help you. But I'm going to go ahead and take off then, and thank you so much. I hope that some of you take advantage of my offer, just because I love doing those kind of readings. They're so much fun. So let me know if you need anything, and until then, I'm going to have another class come up next week. I just haven't announced which kind it is going to be yet, but I will in the next day or two. So be watching for that announcement, and hopefully you'll join me then. But I love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Take care, and thank you again for everything. You're amazing, and I couldn't do this without you. So, namaste, guys. Love you.